Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to my kitchen, I guess. We're going to be making some soap today. This is going to be the Okra and Nettle infused cold process soap. I do think that this is the first cold process soap that I've made on this channel, which is exciting. If you don't know much about cold process soap, use sodium hydroxide lye, which is very caustic and can be dangerous. So definitely do not make cold processed soap unless you know what you're doing or you've had a class or something like that. Just always like to be on the safe side. Always wear goggles and stuff because lye is not fun and chemical burns are not fun. So that out of the way, just always be safe. Without much further ado, I guess we'll get into it. Now this recipe, it takes a lot of preparing, and the first thing I did was I needed to prepare my lye water. So I wanted to use an okra infusion for my distilled water, so I used some sliced okra from the garden and infused it into my water so that I could have that nice slimy goo in here, in the soap bar. As far as I can tell, the chemical substance that causes the slime in okra is sugar based. Don't quote me on that because I'm honestly not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure it's sugar based. So what I did was, after I had removed all the okra pieces from the distilled water, I froze it just as you would in making a milk soap or a beer soap or something like that. I went ahead and I froze the amount that I needed for this soap recipe, just to be sure that things don't heat up too much, because I know sugar has a tendency to heat things up and speed things up. So I just wanted to make sure it didn't get too hot. So I went ahead and froze this. So definitely not something that I would recommend if you have no experience with this. This is really not a tutorial or anything. I'm just pretty much sharing what I did. Hopefully, if you are another soap maker, you'll get inspired or something. I don't know. Maybe it'll be helpful, but definitely not a tutorial. I don't think I'm qualified to teach anybody how to do this, if I'm being totally honest. But anyhow, I've prepared my lye solution, and I make sure no kids, no pets, no nothing around here. Don't want to spill this stuff. Not good. In addition to preparing my lye solution, I also needed to infuse my oils for this recipe. So I infused the oils for this recipe with nettle leaves. I really, really, really love nettles in soaps and things. There are so many benefits, but we won't get into that. But I love the smell of them, and I really think they're just a great addition overall. So I had these oils infusing with nettle. Of course, you can do, the long infusion or a quick infusion with heat. Really just up to you. So once I got my oil and my lye to about the same temperature, I think I ended up soaping at about 110 degrees Fahrenheit for this video. I can start to combine them, and hopefully we'll start making soap. I'm just going to give it a good mix up until it comes to trace. Going for kind of a thinnish trace, I guess. It's a trace when you can kind of trace a little bit on the surface from the stick blender. For this recipe, I'm going to be adding a few things. I'm going to be adding some nettle extract at 1%, some panthenol, which is, you might know as B5, at 1%. I'm also going to be adding some nettle leaves, just loose as a botanical in this, and I'm also going to be using some colorant and of course fragrance, but the colorant I'm using is called Citrus Green High pH lab color. It's from Brambleberry. I really like the lab colors for these one color bars. They've got to be diluted, so I've already diluted this. I'm using about, I don't know, probably going to be about 4 milliliters per pound of soap, I guess. It just depends. I'm going to see how this color comes out. I might add more or add a little bit less. For the panthenol, it does accelerate trace, so it's going to be one of the last things that I add in. And I'm going to be ready to work really quick just in case it goes crazy. Because honestly, it's been a while since I've added panthenol to anything like a soap. So I'm not sure how fast that's going to go once I move. I'm doing about a teaspoon of botanicals per pound of soap. So I have a 16-ounce mold here. So I'm just going to do 1 teaspoon. The fragrance I'm using for this is called Tramp. It's from Nurture Soaps. This is a Lush dupe. and it is all time one of my favorite fragrances. The Tramp fragrance is kind of hard to get your hands on. You have to order it basically from Lush UK Kitchen. But Nurture Soaps has this dupe for it, and it is so amazing. It is spot on. It's just this really deep kind of forest smelling, I don't know how to explain it. It's got oak moss in it, and it's got kind of a little bit of a patchouli undertone. And I think it's very gender friendly. I know a lot of people might say it's like really masculine, but it really is kind of just a deep fragrance that's got a lot going on. I really like it. I think more than anything, it just like legit smells like a wet forest. I know not everybody wants to smell like dirt clods and stuff, but I don't know. I think it's really good. Anyway, that's the fragrance I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to wait till I get this up to trace, and then I am going to add in my nettle extract. I'm going to add my color and my fragrance. And then last but not least, I'm going to add my panthenol. And I'm just going to mix this up as best as possible. Again, I don't want to get it too thick before I start pouring it. I'm going to mix in my fragrance with the whisk, things like that, to just kind of make sure that it doesn't accelerate way too fast and get out of control. You know, really the good news is that if it does start to accelerate like crazy, this is only a one color batch. I'm not doing any swirls or anything exotic with this, so we're just going to keep it as simple and to the point as possible, and hopefully something will come out really nice. Here is the final product, final soap. Turned out pretty good. I think it's really nice. I really like the color of this big time. This is going to be one of my favorite colors, I can tell. And I'm just going to let this cure for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we'll be ready to use it and enjoy it. And that's about it. I really hope y'all liked this video. If you did, let me know down in the comments, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Eventually, I think we're going to be making more cold process soap recipes. It's just one of those things that, you know, there's some limitations on space and whatnot. But eventually, we're going to get there. We'll make some more. I hope y'all are having a real great day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.